Hey guys, Miss Patty. How are you? I hope you're doing okay. This is MPAI Labs. Today's going to be very different. It's going to be basics. I'm going to just go back and give you some AI terms. And I came up with this because there's so many people out there teaching you how to code, how to do marketing, how to prompt, how to create, UGCs, just different stuff. But I want for you to learn AI terms. For me, I am, my background's real estate. So when AI came, because of my sci-fi, which I love, I am self-taught and I just really dive in. But I had to go through the steps that I am teaching you. Okay. So you have to understand there's different terms. I was speaking to my goddaughter and she, she was freaking out because of ChatGPT, but she truly did not know there's a huge difference between, the bots, AI, LLMs. She was just freaking out. So I had to break everything down for her. And she started to understand because she put AI like all together. And a lot of people do that. And that's not how I want you to learn. Okay. So I'm going to give you some core terms and I'm going to break it down. It's going to be really basic. Once you understand, the terms of AI, because you see it all over the place and it's already part of our life, it's in our home, it's in our cell phone, it's at our doctor's office, it's in every business, it's always in our face. So you might as well just learn it, understand it, how to use it the correct way, okay? And then once you know the chords, and then we'll go back to lessons, okay? So the first thing, AI, artificial intelligence. It's almost like that Will Smith, AI movie, but it's not. Okay, it's a little bit different. So the definition of AI or artificial intelligence is computers doing tasks that usually need human thinking, like understanding language or recognizing images or making decision. Once again, AI is a computer doing the tasks that usually need human thinking. Remember that, okay? ML is for machine learning, okay? This is the way for computers to learn patterns from data instead of being giving step-by-step rules. As humans, our parents give us rules, little steps by steps. For machine learning, we have to give them data and input so they can learn. And basically, that's how a lot of the machines, understand and they do speak to each other. Okay. For example, instead of telling, all the rules to detect spam, we're going to have to show them like, this is a spam and this is not a spam, email, and it will learn the pattern. So that's machine learning. And once again, I'm breaking everything down to basic. Even my niece understands this, okay? The next thing is data. Information a computer used to learn or make decisions. Because if you don't have the data, how are they going to learn? And, it can be numbers, text, images, audio, sound, okay? All that is all data that we input so the computer can learn, or the AI, okay? Now, model is the actual brain inside the AI system. It has a program that has learned patterns from data. And remember what data is. Remember text, numbers, images, audio, sound. Okay. Once again, it's a program that learns pattern from data and use them to make predictions or generate context. Okay. So that is basically what a model is. It's the actual brain, everything that goes into the actual computer. Training, that's the process of showing a model lots of examples so it can learn patterns. Once again, everything is a pattern, so they learn. We have to feed everything in there. Okay? Example, showing thousands of cats or dogs, cows, photo so they can, tell them apart because we have lots of different cats, lots of different dogs, a ton of different species, okay? That's the only way that we're training them to learn. So when you prompt a black cat, okay, it's going to pick a black cat. You got to be very, specific. Remember I was telling you about that? What kind of black cat? What kind of species does it have? Is it all black, a deep black? Is it black and white? Those are very important, and they're all data, once again, okay? Generative AI, you hear this all the time in the news, on the radio. I mean, it's constantly, okay? Basically, it's an AI that can create new things. It can create text, it can create images, it can create code, music, etc., 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 based on what it has learned. Chatbots and image generators or generative AI. Okay? Remember that. I'm going to repeat that. Chatbots and image generators or generative AI. Why? Because they can create things, text, images, code, music, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Now, chatbot and AI assistants. A lot of people don't know what they are. They're on a phone. They almost sound human, but not yet. So, what is a chatbot or an AI assistant? It's a program that you talk to using text or voice, and it will respond like a conversation. It uses a language model to understand your words and reply. Okay. And I have to say that, some of the chatbot, they're starting to sound, a little bit more like human, but I can always tell just by the way they say certain words. Now, what is a prompt? We all should know what a prompt is because I've been saying that almost every single video that I have out there. A prompt is a message or instructions you give to an AI. It can be a question, it can be a request, or a very detailed set of instructions. Remember, a prompt is just a message or instructions that you have to give to AI. Okay? Hallucination. I cannot say that word. I don't know why. English is my second language. I should know how to say that. Hallucination. There we go. When an AI gives a confident answer that is wrong and is made up. It sounds real, but the facts are incorrect. A while back, you probably saw it in the news that ChatGPT or CT was hallucinating, and it was basically making up things. And you'll probably see lots of cases. That's why, you have to be very careful when you use different LLMs, and you always want to check the source. Okay? Remember, AI is a tool that we use. Once again, bias. This is when an AI output is unfair or skewed because the data that it learns from us is unbalanced or biased. Okay. By the way, I put a question out in our community. Why, if you put the same prompt in the LLM, why does it come back looking, very different? The answer is because they learn different, different inputs and everything. It's not going to be exactly the same. But you should go on there. I kind of sort of told you the, question. I did give you an A, B, and C detail. So if you check that out, there is a prize on our community. So algorithm, what is that? It's a set of rules or steps a computer follows to solve a problem. Machine learning uses special kind of algorithm that can learn from data. Okay. All of those are very, very important. I might put this in a PDF and give it to you, but these are the terms that you have to know so you can understand. Those are the basics. You're going to hear it all the time. All right, so I'm going to give you some examples of an output explaining AI, and I'm going to give you 3 real life examples because, people learn different. I have to sometimes, be shown. Sometimes I can hear something and I'm good. Okay. So, once again, I'll just explain everything to you. So, AI is when the computer are built to do smart things like understanding what we say, recognizing pictures, or writing text by learning from lots of examples instead of being told every single rule. Okay? So here's the detail. Like on YouTube or Netflix, recommendations, when you watch a video or a show, the app remembers and learns what you watch, what you don't like, and what you skip. So it's actually learn everything. And yes, that is on YouTube, Netflix. Actually, our phone is the same way too. Okay. So machine learned models look at your behavior and the behavior of millions of users. Okay. It finds pattern like, people who want to watch so and so A, B, or C. Okay. So it learns your pattern very quickly. Then it recommends videos or shows that it thinks you like. Just like some of the social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that. It actually learns your a pattern and you're starting to see recommendation. YouTube, a lot of times, you scroll or you click on something and then it's going to, okay, why is this on my feed? Because you actually clicked on it and, the algorithm think you like it. So it's actually, kind of throwing things in there. So next thing, photo apps recognize face and object. Okay. On your phone, 'cause I have an iPhone, the photo app can group pictures in the same, people and detect things like, the dog, food, beaches. And you see that like it's sort of like a recap. Facebook does that too. So during training, the AI can show huge numbers of label images. This is a dog, this is your car, this is the face of blah, 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 and so on, so on, and so on. And it learned so quick. So over time, it learns your pattern, the shapes, the colors, the textures, that goes with that label. So when you search for a dog, in your picture, the model looks at each image, apply what it has learned, and show the one that matches your dog. Okay. So it's very interesting that it's in the background, learning all this. Okay. Voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant, you can actually speak to it. What is the weather? I always say, hey Siri, do I need to take, my umbrella today? And it would respond. So it's like a speech recognition model converts your sound into text. That's what voice assistant is. Okay. Then the language model figures out, what you want, today's weather, your location, all that like within like a nanosecond. Okay. It calls a weather service, get the data to you, and turn it into a spoken answer. So that's basically voice assistant. And everything is going in like nanoseconds. Okay. So to you, it feels like you're talking to a person, but behind the scenes, the multiple AIs model is working together. So I hope that makes sense for voice assistants if you use it. I only use Siri's because I have the Apple. So once again, these are things that you have to know that every day we deal with AI constantly, and we kind of sort of take it for granted if you think about it. Okay. But there's a couple bonus things that I want to show you. For example, you're going to hear this in the coming days. Okay. Or you probably hear it right now. Deep learning. What is deep learning? So deep learning is a kind of machine learning that use large neural networks with many layers. Okay. You're like, what is a neural network? Well, very good question. Let's break that down. So a neural network is a type of AI model loosely inspired by human brain. It is made it is made of many small connected units, neurons, that work together to spot patterns. Notice the pattern again in data like shapes or images or meaning a sentence. So that's a neural network. So let's go back to deep learning. So deep learning is a kind of a machine that uses large neural network with many layers. So these deep networks are especially good for complex tasks like recognizing face, understanding speech, and generating text or images. Okay. So data set. This is kind of like more getting, deep. You need to know this. So a data set is a collective of data that an AI used to learn. For example, it might be a big table of house prices, a folder of labeled images, or a list of sentence that they're translating. So therefore, it's collecting all that data. Okay. The next one is classification. Classification is when an AI model put things into categories. For example, whether this email is spam or not spam, whether this picture is a cow, a dog, a cat, an ant, you name it, just different classifications. Okay. Prediction. We hear this all the time, just like prediction market. Prediction is when an AI model uses what it has learned to guess, believe it or not, something about a new data. For example, guessing tomorrow's, temperature, estimating the price of the home, or suggesting what videos you might like to watch next. All of this is part of the AI ecosystem. So it's best that you just break everything down, learn it. So when you hear it in the news, it's starting to make sense to you. Okay. So that's what I did. So for me to learn, what AI was, I had to understand the actual words mean or vocabulary. And then after that, I took it to the next step, and I just did a deep dive, reading a lot of books, and then I took classes, and then I started building, different skills that I need to understand, like the basics of AI. Then I took it, 5, levels up. But understanding all of this has helped me, simplify and I guess you say my journey in the AI industry. So I had to understand like the core definitions, and then the next step for me is basically coding, which I'm kind of pushing that off. I do front end, not the back end. But I feel that I needed to level up my skills, and I love teaching. So I brought, basically all this information so you can understand and start using the tools correctly. Okay. Once again, I'm going to put this, terms in the PDF so you can have it. Also on my Stan store, I think there's definitions there, and it's for free. Go over there and download it. I think there'll be a link below. Okay. But I just had to do this definitions because, when I was researching, I saw so many people, not teaching the basic beginner, words so you can actually understand. So I hope this helps somebody. Okay. Remember, stay kind. Don't forget to follow me, in all the social media platform. Join our community. Lots of free prompting, lots of free definitions on there, and it has helped a lot of people grow. Okay. Other than that, guys, I'll see you next time. Ja, matane.